Nwankwo Kanu is a very powerful name in soccer circles. This is a Nigerian footballer who played also for the Arsenal Football Club. And I'm talking about this man because of one thing. He had someone who believed in him. There is no doubt that when we saw Nwankwo Kanu doing wonders in the Olympics in some years, I think in 1996, in Africa, our attentions and our imaginations were captured. And then something terrible happened to Nwankwo Kanu. I think he had head surgery or heart surgery, one of those things. And when you are an athlete and you go through that kind of a major surgery, chances are that your career has come to an end. But this man recovers, and then someone discovers him, or someone gives him another chance to excavate his potential. I'm going to talk about that today in this episode when we're talking about discovering, excavating, and deploying your potential. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Jesus had one. Paul had one. Michael Jackson had one. And all the great athletes of today cannot perform at that great level without one. Who is he? I'm going to tell you who that is in a bit. But we've been talking about potential. We've been saying that potential is the unique preset, boundless possibilities that the Creator incorporated at inception in the life of every individual born of a woman. You have potential, I have potential. And over the past several episodes, we've been talking about how we can excavate that potential. And we say that the first thing you can do, it is to understand the potential principle. Know that there is life being done solely on the principle of potential, that the pillars of life are actually under the pillar of potential. If you remove potential from life, then life becomes the most useless thing ever. The second thing that you need to do is to know that to deploy your potential, to excavate your potential, you need to go through the path of most resistance. We say that the third thing that you need to do is to lean on to your gifts and your natural talents, and even some spiritual gifts and talents and some skills. The fourth thing we said you should do, it is to live your life on the edge. When there are no options, don't say no, say yes and learn on the go. The fifth thing we said, if you're going to excavate your potential, is to leverage on the power of focus, to be focused. The sixth thing we talked about yesterday, it is to get locked into your life purpose. There is no way you're going to excavate your potential if you will not be a man or a woman of purpose. And so today we are going to wind up in this message, a 7-part series on an 8-part series on the message of excavating your potential. What can you do to excavate the potential that is existing already inside of you? And number 7 is simply this: to draw from trusted mentors and coaches. My favorite soccer coach of all time, of course, is Arsene Wenger. Why? Because he loves to use the minimal resources to unearth the greatest potential of footballers. See, true mentors and coaches are the traders in personal potential. Some of them have this uncanny ability to see what we don't see ourselves, even in ourselves. They are seasoned people whose major focus in life is to bring out the very best out of us. And they see potential and they work it out. And this man called Arsene Wenger, he saw potential in that footballer who had gone through major life-threatening surgery. And he betted on him and he gave him an opportunity. He gave him a chance. And did this boy impress or what? He did wonders. So Wenger has this uncanny way of turning an unknown footballer into a world-class beater. In an era where many football clubs are heavily relying on world-class signings to make an impact, Wenger has this meticulous, nurtured ability of looking for youngsters and upgrade them to world-class performers. See, true mentors and coaches, they trade in personal potential. They know what to look at. They see what to look at. And if you are going to unearth your potential, chances are that you will need to be under the tutelage of somebody who knows what they are doing, who has seen potential in the area that you are operating in, who have nurtured one person or another in that area. Now, you will be wrong to assume that mentors and coaches are only needed in sports and in business. The truth is that mentorship is the way that God designed potential to be unearthed in the first place. That's why Jesus had a coach and a forerunner. That's why Paul had a coach. That's why Michael Jackson had a coach. I mean, call any name you can think of in any niche. There is no one who was successful in unearthing their potential without a mentor and without a coach. I came across a very interesting quote by a very powerful writer of this book, Swimming with the Sharks. This is Harvey Mackay. Harvey Mackay says this. He says, I have 20 coaches, if you can believe it, and that's not a typo. I have a speech coach, I have a writing coach, I have a humor coach, I have got a language coach, and on and on and on. This is a man who is a world-class writer, is a top performer. But he says that one of the ways he does these things is that for every area that he wants to perform well, for every area that he has potential, remember we talked about fields of potential? For every area that he wants to come up best, he goes under a tutelage of the coach or a mentor. See, school brought us teachers, head teachers, disciplinarians, deans, chancellors, prefects, and sadly, coaches are not in the school systems. They are only there to focus on sports. Coaching has to be a central theme of any schooling system that is entrusted with the noble responsibility of unearthing potential. But why is it relegated to the periphery? Why is it that when you're talking about coaching in school, you're talking about a sports administrator? In this day and age, we need mentors. We need coaches. We need them in abundance. We need people who are sold out on unearthing potential in others. Believe me, it is a God thing. This world operates because God put potential in it. It is a godly mandate. Jesus Christ had this very severe suggestion of how we should punish people who are stifling potential, people who are killing potential. He said it will be better if you tie a rock on the head of someone who is trying to mess up children and throw that person in the waters. See, children typify potential more than any age group in the human life. And of course, there is no expiration of some aspects of potential. It doesn't expire. I've shared about this. But at a young age, that potential needs to be nurtured and brought to the fore. And that is why Jesus was so particular about it. If you look at the opposite of the punishment he suggested, then it tells you that he has so much passion about children being led well, so much passion about children's potential being unearthed and being excavated. If you're going to be someone who is excavating your potential, identify an area in your life that you think you're good at, and then identify someone who is a practitioner in that area, a mentor or a coach. Look for them. If you've got to pay them, pay them. But I'm telling you, potential is going to be excavated when you are in the hands of a seasoned coach or a seasoned mentor. Someone who can hold your hand and guide you, and someone who knows that this is what you are capable of doing. This is what you can be able to do. This is what you should not do. This is what you should do. This is the route that you should be able to take. And in that way, your potential is going to be excavated to the fullest. See, one can easily say that even life itself, the analogy of life itself, it is so laden. If you study life, it is so laden with the metaphor and the symbolism of coaching and mentoring. You get born. You cannot do life without a mother or a guardian. You've got to be under someone who teaches you, who disciples you, so to speak, who makes you to do things that you're supposed to do in a basic way. But when you're talking about performance, when you're talking about potential, there's got to be this idea of you not just nurturing it without a niche mentor. When I talk about a niche mentor, I'm talking about someone who is good in that area. Because if you look at life, by the way, at the end of the day, like I've said, it is so much devoid of mentors, so much devoid of coaches, because we have a default way of operation. We go to school and we don't have any mentors, we have very many teachers, and their sole responsibility is to pour out information into our heads. But then potential is not in our heads. Potential is actually in our lives. Potential is in our hands. It is in our hearts. It is also in our heads. It is in our passion. It is in our excitement. It is in our life itself. It is in our interests. It is in the things that make our heart to beat. It is in the things that make us to cry. Things that make us to be angry. Things that make us to have joy. It is in those fields. It is a 360-degree thing. And that's why if you are a writer, like I was a writer in class 8 back in Kenya, I needed a mentor. I needed a coach whom I will sit under, and they will tell me, this is how you write a compelling story. This is how you write an inspirational story, and so on and so forth. And so we need to come to that level where we identify a mentor in our lives at the earliest age, and we stick to it and we stick with them. There are different ways you can be mentored, by the way. Did you know? Now, one of my mentors in writing is John C. Maxwell, but I have never met Maxwell face to face. But Maxwell has very many resources that I get access to, audios, videos, books, and so on. And I study the way he writes. He's my mentor. And I write. He has humor. He has quotes. He has structure. He has acrostics. The guy is just that good. And the other day, another mentor that I came across is called Raphael McManus. Raphael McManus. He writes powerfully. And I look at the way he writes. He's my mentor. You see, if I started writing, I started taking the journey of writing. And by the way, one of the reasons as to why I never took the writing journey early is because I lacked a mentor. I lacked someone who sees potential inside of me and just hold my hand. And when I threw in my heart into the ring, I got a mentor. And this mentor gave me the strategies, the seeds to be able to use, and I got started. And so studying these people leads you, guides you. If you are gifted in any area of your life, I challenge you to find someone who is good at it. Study them. Maybe go under their tutelage. Sit under them. Let them disciple you. If I'm telling you, if a mentor sees something inside of you, they are going to want to excavate it to the degree that you are hungry for it, you are thirsty for it, and you want it to come to the fore. Mentors are actually so good when you are hungry for it. Mentors operate best when you prod them, not the other way around. When they have to call you, seek you, look for you. No. When a mentor finds a malleable ground, someone who is hungry, someone who wants to hear and actually implement the nuggets that they tell them, a mentor is very happy to help. If you are ready to excavate your potential, if you are ready to excavate your talent, your gifts, your purpose on earth, find a mentor and be hungry to implement everything that the mentor tells you to. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We're going to continue with these thoughts in the next episode tomorrow. For now, bye-bye. A special shout out to my mentor, Jeffrey Howard of Visionary Business University, found at mastermindmentor.com, who has graciously provided me with the soundtrack and the introductory track to this podcast. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.